You know that feeling when you've given so much of yourself and nobody notices? It's exhausting, isn't it? Feeling like you're always giving and bending to fit other people's needs, but you never see it being returned. Sometimes it shows up in relationships where you're always the one trying harder, the one initiating conversations, smoothing over conflict, making sure the connection survives. And slowly, without realising it, you become the one responsible for holding everything together. Not because people are intentionally cruel, sometimes they don't even realise it, but because you've been carrying more than your share for so long, it just becomes your default. And that weight doesn't disappear overnight. It follows you even when you start thinking about putting yourself first. It can happen in friendships too, being the one everyone calls when they need support, advice or comfort, but rarely the person someone checks in on when you're the one going through something. It feels like the people around you only take what they can for themselves, never thinking about what you need and never considering how it affects you. And yet you still feel guilty when you even think about saying no. Sometimes the guilt runs even deeper in family dynamics, because when roles have existed for years as the reliable one, the understanding one, and the one who never causes problems, stepping outside of that role can feel almost like betrayal, even when you're simply protecting your well-being. And the truth is, it doesn't only happen in one area of life. These patterns can show up in relationships, friendships, family dynamics, and even the way you handle responsibility in work or everyday life. When you've spent years being the one who gives more, it becomes a role you carry everywhere. I've been there, more times than I can count and more times than I care to remember. And it hurts. It hits deep. Not because you're selfish, but because you've been conditioned to believe your worth grows the more you give. It can even show up in work or responsibility. Taking on more than you should, saying yes to things you don't have the capacity for, pushing yourself past exhaustion just to prove your dedication or loyalty. Being generous can make you visible for the wrong reasons. Some don't value the soul behind the giving. They value the access to what you provide. And if you're not careful, they will draw from you without ever pouring back in. And over time, that constant giving doesn't just drain your energy, it quietly disconnects you from yourself, from your own needs, your own limits, and the quiet signals your body sends when something isn't right. And when the truth finally hits, that some people will never see your effort, will never honour your presence, and will always prioritise themselves, it's frustrating. It's a quiet anger, a sinking realisation, and yes, it makes it even harder to put yourself first. I've had to learn this the hard way. I've spent years giving more than I should have, overextending and caring too deeply, only to realise that the person I needed to care for most was myself. And it wasn't about becoming selfish or cold. It was about surviving emotionally, protecting my energy, and finally honouring the value of me. Because when you spend too long putting yourself last, it begins to affect more than just your energy. It affects your mental and emotional well-being. You start feeling drained in ways that rest doesn't fix. Your mind becomes heavy with overthinking, replaying situations, wondering if you could have done more, given more, and been more. And slowly, without noticing it at first, you start carrying stress, frustration, and emotional exhaustion that was never yours to hold in the first place. That's the quiet damage of constantly abandoning yourself. And eventually your mind and your heart start asking for something different. But here's the truth nobody tells you. The people who only take from you, who are selfish, greedy, or self-absorbed, they don't deserve your energy. They don't deserve your time. They don't get to make you feel guilty for valuing yourself, and they certainly don't get to take advantage of you. Your first responsibility is to yourself. Always. It can be as simple as saying no without explaining yourself repeatedly, stepping back from conversations that go nowhere, and choosing rest instead of pushing yourself to meet everyone else's expectations. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it isn't cruel, and it isn't wrong. It's the exact opposite. It's standing in your power. It's having the realization and saying to yourself, I matter. And when you do, you'll notice the difference immediately. The subtle relief, the clarity, and the feeling of no longer abandoning yourself. The people who truly deserve to be in your life will step up, because the right people don't need you to exhaust yourself to keep the connection alive. They respect your time, your boundaries, and the fact that your life and your well-being matter too. And for the people who don't, they will show their true colours, and that's okay. That's their story, not yours. That clarity simply reveals who is truly meant to stay in your life and who isn't. So if you feel that guilt creeping in when you prioritise yourself, remember this: you're not being selfish. You're finally being honest about what you deserve. And that strength is what will carry you forward. That's what will keep your heart whole, your energy intact, and your life fully yours. So if you're feeling that tug of guilt, that tiny voice telling you you're being too much, let it pass. You're allowed to care for yourself. You're allowed to put your needs first. And in that choice, you're discovering just how much you're worth. You are a person that deserves to be loved, respected, and valued. Learning to prioritise yourself isn't a single decision. It's a series of small choices, moments where you stop abandoning yourself just to keep peace in situations that were never peaceful for you. And if there's one thing you take away from this video, let it be this: make yourself a priority in your life, always. Because if you don't, who else will? Thank you for staying and listening. If this conversation resonated with you, you might also want to check out my other videos. If you'd like to support this page, you can like, comment, and subscribe. It genuinely helps us reach other people who might be sitting with the same questions. If you enjoyed my content and would like to support the channel, you can leave a little tip via the PayPal link in the description. And if you want to be here for the next conversation, you can turn on notifications. Your support doesn't just help the channel grow, it reminds me that I'm not the only one thinking about these things quietly. And that matters more than you know. Sending you all so much love. Until next time, keep becoming.